every once in a while in the last, 3 years that I've been doing this YouTube golf channel, cool things really in the last like decade since I've been making YouTube videos, cool things have happened. But this is one of those like uber cool things where, you just kind of sit back and you're like, wow, that's kind of neat. All right, so we're going to talk about two things. Number one, I got called out by ForePlay on their podcast. We're going to talk about that. I'm going to play the clip. We're going to react to it. Number two, I'm going to talk about my role in the Internet Invitational. We are the eve, not even the eve, we are mere hours away, 3.5 hours away at the time of recording this, from the final episode of the Internet Invitational coming out. And I just couldn't be more tickled pink. I watched the Unnamed show this morning. I thought maybe they'd address some stuff. They literally just like, oh, episode 6 today. Yeah. And then Whitney brought up, he's like, so people are saying that, you've clickbaited them. You've overhyped the drama, Dave. And he's like, just wait. And they literally wouldn't talk about anything else. And Whitney was like, yeah, just wait. Like, so I still don't know what's coming, man, but it's going to be insane. So anyway, I'm very excited for that. But let's get into what we're here to talk about. So I'm going to play this clip from the ForePlay podcast that came out this morning. I had a bunch of you guys send it to me. I appreciate it because although I do watch, a lot of content, I can't see everything. I can't see everything on YouTube. So I appreciate when people, especially with longer things like these podcasts, send me timestamps if I'm mentioned or something I'm interested in. So if you ever see something online that mentions me in like a podcast or something you think I'd want to talk about on my channel, feel free to DM me on Instagram with timestamps. It's really, really helpful. So thank you to the people that did that. But anyway, so this is an episode just released, ForePlay, talking about the Internet Invitational. Let's just listen to it together, and then I'll let you guys know. I'll fill you guys in on some more stuff.
We ended up coming to a good conclusion, but that part to me was tough. Like I felt like that was getting away from me a little bit. The choosing your own teams. Like I felt like we got to the end. We got there by just like drafting, and like if there is an anomaly, and I know that she was the one because she didn't hit it as far, so like her being one of the 4 captains doesn't make sense, but like that's just how it shook out. So I just thought it should have just been drafted. I think it would have been drafted pretty similar. But that part
I do too.
My head was spinning during that whole thing, dude. Like you could watch that back, and I'm like, are we really choosing amongst each other what the teams are going to be for $1 million? That was a weird thing to me.
And it was at one point it got so everyone's head was spinning so much that you guys had to all stand up and go like physically stand where you were going to be a teammate because people were, going full Minority Report, moving stuff around.
So I'm just playing this little intro bit because the part they talk about me comes in like 30 seconds. But just to give a bit of context, they're talking about like selecting the teams and the process at which that happened. So, and specifically like the final day when they were like choosing the end of the second to last day when they were choosing what the final 4 teams were to be going into the final day, which we've always seen the morning of, we're about to see the afternoon of.
Around, it was hard to keep track of. And so yeah, that part again, that was sort of something we wrestled with all the way up until that moment in terms of like, what are we going to do? Are we going to just tier?
Yeah, we had Nate Edwardson. We had the YouTube guy we referenced to before. We had Nate Edwardson. We were going to have a creator.
By the way, if there's one thing people can refer to me by that makes me just the happiest, it's the YouTube guy. Like, shout out to Frankie for saying my full name. I appreciate that. Nate Edwardson does help. But Nate Edwardson, the YouTube guy, put it on my tombstone. Like, that's what I want to be. That's what I love. But it's so good for business, too. Nate Edwardson, the YouTube guy. Anyway, we're going to get into that in a second.
Creator Council. We're going to have a Internet Invitational Council where it was Nate Edwardson and then this other group. Is it like the Birdie Bros or something?
Oh,
I could be giving someone a shout out that doesn't deserve it. But we had another group of guys. I can't remember who it was.
I believe it was the Divot Dudes. That's I believe. I'm not actually certain, but again, we're gonna get to that in a second.
Brendan ended up bringing them. Brendan ended up bringing a bunch of guys, and they ended up just playing at Big Cedar Lodge for free the whole week. They're like, this is great. We just had a free trip. We were supposed to be a part of this council, and we just let them go out there and film a bunch of videos. God, who the hell was it? Try and find that Trent.
It wasn't. It's not the lads, was it?
Oh, maybe. God, this is so bad.
I really can't remember.
Anyway, we had this crew that was going to come, and then like we decided because everyone saw those tierings, and I know Riggs was about to say this, so I just cut him off. But
no.
But yeah, no, Nate, I wanted to give a shout out to Nate Edwardson and those guys because they were very willing to come there and basically say like you're number 1 and you're number 48. And we're going to pair you two together. And you're number 2 and you're number 47. We're going to pair you together. And we're going to do that the whole entire way. our idea was we wanted to have a tier A, a tier B, and a tier C all in the finals. And I think it ended up just shaking out that way.
Yeah.
It's amazing how it shook out with we ended up the day before deciding, let's just let captains just make the picks. And Dave was like, all right, in the beginning, he was like, I think it needs to be tiered because you need those guys, you need Beef, you need Frankie, you need the Duke to like make it towards you need guys to be able to hitting big shots that aren't used to it. Sure, Brad Dahlke's always going to win every tournament he's in, or Paige is going to win every single tournament that she's.
All right. I think that's kind of it. They might say another couple words about me, but number one, just thank you. That's so cool. I appreciate it. ForePlay, Frankie. I've had a great relationship with ForePlay and the ForePlay podcast for quite some time now. Brendan Jones is the GOAT. Like him and Colin Ross are just the greatest of all time. Like in terms of like big scale productions, I said to Brendan, I'm like, you two have to start a production company. Like they're so talented at what they do. And Brendan's up there in the GOAT tier. Literally, I think it's him and Colin Ross at the top. Then there's, other incredible talents. But as far as like people who produce at the scale they do, like you gotta understand like what Skylar does and what Ryder does, like all incredible. But normally they're editing for like one or two people on camera at a time. Like what Brendan Jones had to do to make the Internet Invitational come together, what Colin Ross has to do, and Good has like 10 people playing golf in a video, and Good puts out like 3 videos a week or something crazy. Like Max as well, like Colin I think maybe just gets his name more than Max, but whatever. Like the whole production team at Good. It's just Brendan Jones is the GOAT, is right up there, Mount Rushmore of these big production editors. So anyways, I have a great relationship with him. I talk to him all the time. I built a decent relationship with ForePlay guys. I mean, like a great relationship with them, like personally that I've met. I just like, I'm not like super close. We don't talk all the time, but I've had great conversations with all of them. I've met all of them in real life. They've all been super nice to me, which is awesome. And I love them. And I think I do obviously something similar to what they've built in the pro golf world, in the internet golf world, which it's cool now that we're kind of like crossing paths a little bit by them coming into the internet golf world. I don't touch pro golf at all. That's their domain. But anyways, long-winded way to say it's just really cool. It's a full circle moment. Before I watched any YouTube golf videos at all, I listened to the ForePlay podcast. When I first started playing golf, they were the first thing because I had gotten into Barstool through Dave's unboxing during COVID. And I was watching pizza reviews, and so I knew who Frankie was. And then I found ForePlay right as I was getting into golf. So I watched, listened to their podcast and watched some of their videos. And they were actually how my YouTube algorithm started recommending me like Good and all these other channels. So it's a cool full circle moment. Now, what was a really cool full circle moment that I'm going to explain to you guys that I think you might find fascinating is like what my role in the Internet Invitational was supposed to be. And it was similar to what Frankie described. So basically, I wasn't really going to talk about this at all, but they've kind of made it public now, so I feel like I kind of have they didn't tell me not to talk about it, but I don't know. I just try not to talk about this kind of stuff. But for those of you who don't know, I've been working behind the scenes with YouTubers for like a decade. Like before I even had my own YouTube channel, I was working full time with other creators on like ideation, packaging, title, thumbnail, production. I was videographer, editor for a long time. Like I've been all over different aspects of YouTube channels for a long time. And recently, in the last couple of years, I've started consulting. So I've started working on the ideation side, titles, thumbnails, helping people understand analytics, basically helping people maximize their YouTube channels, grow profitable YouTube channels. And I've done it with people who have 0 subscribers all the way up to like big businesses with 500,000 subscribers that I've helped, multiply their revenue month over month. And it's my biggest passion in life. And that's my main thing now. Like literally like this YouTube channel has kind of allowed me to like niche out, and I do it mainly in the golf space, but I've expanded. Anyway, so I was approached by ForePlay, Brendan Jones, who basically said he had like a dinner with Dave and the guys at ForePlay, and my name got brought up as like, we want this guy at the Internet Invitational to help us just understand who everyone is and how good they are at golf, and how good they are socially, maybe to like interact and what their interactions will be like, and kind of just like, I don't want to say puppet master a little bit, but like, pull little strings as to like who's going to play who, where, when, and why. And that original tier list, if you guys saw it, was built primarily by me, which is cool. And they ended up using that tier list at first. Now, they didn't force people. I don't think in the initial draft, they forced people to select. I don't think the tier list really played in much at all, but it was going to. The original idea was that I was going to make this tier list, which I did, and then I was going to fly out to the Internet Invitational. They were going to hire me to consult, to basically like after every reshuffle, so after every round of 9 holes, I was going to go into like a war room with like Dave and whoever and Brendan and the Jet and production and reshuffle everyone and be kind of the voice that's like, okay, this person should be paired with this person should be paired with this person. Because like Frankie was alluding to, their biggest struggle initially was like, how do we get the like not good golf or the good golfers to not just run away with this and the bad golfers to be eliminated at round 1? Because originally David always said that he wanted this to be, you know, something where like the bad golfers also got to the end, so they were hitting big shots and pressure moments, and it just does create better content. Like this is a content tournament, it's not like a professional golf tournament. So, you know, that was going to be a big part of my role, and I was super excited for that. I was supposed to fly down to do it, but then 2 things ended up happening. Number one, my wife was very far along in her pregnancy, and it was looking like it was all good to go, but pretty close getting up to it. It was just kind of advised that like maybe you don't leave. Like it was getting pretty close to her due date, and so, you know, I kind of had to wrestle with that. And as much as I love YouTube golf, as much as I loved and wanted to be a part of this, I just was unwilling to potentially miss the birth of my first child, but also like, you know, leave my wife in this time when like, you know, she's going through a lot. And so I made the decision. I reached out to Brandon. I was like, listen, man, I'm sorry. I'm not gonna be able to make it. I'll support you guys from afar. They had already offered for me to do it remotely, but like I wanted to go because like I would have been rubbing shoulders with all of my friends. Like I'm friends with, you know, most big YouTube golf creators, and, you know, just would have been a really cool opportunity to go look like a beautiful place. So I was really bummed to not go. But then what kind of ended up happening, which is kind of funny, and Frankie's alluding to here, is like the other people that went that were supposed to be on this council with me, they ended up not using them anyways. Like I didn't get, I was available during the filming of it, but I actually didn't end up getting consulted at all during it because they completely changed the format. Like 2-3 days, I don't know how many days before, but sometime before the decision was made, you know, internally, Dave, you know, Bob does, probably ForePlay, whatever, some combination of them. I think maybe Dave leading it was just like, we should just do captain's picks, like kind of like surviving, kind of like, you know, all these other events they've done. Like we should just do captain's picks instead of forcing people to play together and selecting the tiers ourselves. We should just do captain's picks. And so they ended up just doing that. And they ran through that with the whole tournament, obviously. And they at the end, they let people kind of pick their own teams. But like, that's where I would have fit in. And then just to be there to consult on some other stuff. I've helped them a little bit with like production questions, you know, at the beginning and whatever. And it's just been, yeah, it was just a really cool opportunity, but it ended up kind of, like I said, 2 things. One, I couldn't go. I was still available to help them kind of remotely, but they ended up kind of not going with that model anyways. So even if I had win, I would have just been there to be there, which would have been great, but like it ended up kind of working out. But anyways, yeah, so that's kind of what happened. Honestly, it was just a huge compliment. I took it as a huge compliment. I took it as a huge honor, like that they would want me there. The fact that Dave Portnoy heard my name is really cool. And yeah, it's always crazy to me, man, how much I've like no matter what, like people on the internet or whatever, viewers, like love, hate, doesn't matter. Like one thing I've always prided myself on is like the positive penetration. That's an aggressive word, but for some reason it's the one I have. Positive penetration I've had within the community of creators. Like the acceptance of me and what I do with the creators is really cool. And, you know, I think it's because like I've made this very clear that like, you know, I try to hold myself to a certain standard. Like I don't talk about stuff that's offline. I don't bring it online. I only talk about stuff that's online. And if I know there's like a super sore spot for people, I try not to hurt people intentionally just for views. And I think a lot of the creators respect what I do and like what I do. So when I get opportunities like this, it's just a really cool full circle moment, and I feel very grateful for it. So shout out to them for talking about me on the podcast. That's always really cool. And yeah, I'm just excited to enjoy this last episode of the Invitational. I hope I get an opportunity to be part of the next one. Bring my whole family down, my wife, my new kid, and just have an awesome time there. And yeah, just be a part of it in any way they feel like I can. So anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. Without you guys watching, obviously none of this would be happening. So yeah, just a cool moment. But I'll be back probably in like, I don't know, 4 or 5 hours to fill you in on everything that's going on with episode 6 and probably some of the craziest drama we've ever seen. So thank you guys so much. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.